Hello dear students, welcome back to top lesson for you. Friends, as you know, we have started lectures regarding aorta. So in this lecture we are going to discuss about the branches of descending thoracic aorta. As in the previous lecture, let me remind that lecture also so that it could be easily understood, this lecture. Friends, as you know, I had discussed about aorta in the previous lecture, and we all know that we have discussed about the branches of root of aorta, that is the coronary arteries. And friends, we also know we have discussed about three important branches which are arising from the arch of aorta. These are the brachiocephalic, right common carotid, brachiocephalic, left common carotid, and left subclavian. Then we also know that it bifurcates into right subclavian and right common carotid. I have discussed all these three branches. Friends, our aim of these lectures is just to know about the branches which this aorta gives off, right? We are not dealing with those arteries which are going towards the tissues and the organs which supply those. In these lectures we are just our aim is just to know about the branches of this aorta, right? So up to here I had discussed in my previous lectures. If anyone has any difficulty, go and watch these videos. I have recorded all these regarding these arteries in details. Right now in this lecture we are concerned with the branches which arise from the thoracic aorta, which is the descending thoracic aorta. Friends, aortic root, aortic ascending aorta, aortic arch, also they are also the thoracic aorta because they are present in the thoracic region. So some branches arise from aortic arch, some branches arise from aortic root, and some branches arise from descending thoracic aorta. So in this lecture we are going to record about these branches which arise from the descending, as we know that this is the descending thoracic aorta. So we are recording about the branches of descending thoracic aorta. Let's begin our lecture. Branches of descending thoracic aorta. In this lecture I will not only discuss about only these arteries, but we will also discuss about some or I would just say that we will discuss about the blood supply of the thorax, right? So let's begin our lecture. Branches of thoracic descending thoracic aorta. Friends, let me name all those branches first of all, then we will make the diagram and we will discuss each artery inshallah in detail. So friends, from descending thoracic aorta, the first branch that arises are the bronchial arteries, right? Bronchial arteries. And don't worry, I will discuss about bronchial arteries in detail inshallah. Next, the next branches which arise from this descending thoracic aorta, those are the esophageal arteries. Esophageal arteries. Okay, then there are next group of branches, and these are there are many branches and they arise from this descending thoracic aorta, and these are called the mediastinal arteries. Mediastinal arteries, right? There are many branches, we will discuss them. Next branch which arises from this descending thoracic aorta, that is the pericardial artery. Pericardial artery. We are writing just their names. We will discuss each artery. The next branch which arises from this descending thoracic aorta is the subcostal artery. Subcostal artery. Arteries. Right. Then there are the last branches which arise are the superior phrenic arteries. Superior phrenic arteries. Okay, and then there are so many branches which arise from the back of this descending thoracic aorta, from the posterior, from the dorsal part of this descending thoracic aorta, and those important branches are the posterior intercostal arteries. Posterior intercostal arteries. Clear, friends? Okay, so these are some branches which arise from the descending thoracic aorta. These are the bronchial arteries. I will now start discussion about these bronchial arteries. Then there are esophageal arteries. Then there are mediastinal arteries, and then there are some pericardial arteries which supply the pericardium, and then there is the subcostal arteries. Then there are superior phrenic arteries, and then there are posterior intercostal arteries. Friends, one thing which is very important, we all should know that all these arteries that I have mentioned here, they directly arise from the descending thoracic aorta. That's why we say that these branches directly arise from the descending thoracic aorta. That's why we say that these are the branches of descending thoracic aorta. So let me first of all discuss about the bronchial arteries. Right, the first one. Bronchial arteries. Right. Let's know about their origin. From where do they arise? These bronchial arteries, from where do they arise? Now let me draw the diagram again here. Right. This is our thoracic aorta. Okay. Right. So from this point, I will mention this point right now. There are three branches of arteries which arise, and these three branches, the first branches which the descending thoracic aorta gives, these are the bronchial arteries. So friends, they arise from the descending thoracic aorta at the level of T5 to T6. Right. Bronchial arteries arise from, what is their origin? They arise from descending thoracic aorta. Okay, at level of T5 to T6, thoracic vertebra number 5 and number 6, and between them these arteries arise. Right. What is the diameter of these arteries? What is the diameter of these arteries? Okay, the diameter of these arteries is about 1.5 millimeter. These arteries have a diameter of, for example, this is the bronchial artery, right? This is the bronchial artery, and this is its diameter. So their diameter is about 1.5 millimeter. Right. How many bronchial arteries do we have? What is their number? Right. So we have about 3 bronchial arteries. We have 3 bronchial arteries. They are 3 in number. right? Two of these arteries, we have three arteries, two of them move towards left lung, left pleura, right, and one for right pleura, right. This is their detail. Now, what does they supply? What does bronchial arteries supply? So they supply our lungs. We should know that these arteries are responsible to provide oxygenated blood to lungs or pleura. Okay, this was about the bronchial arteries. About bronchial arteries, we should know what is their origin point. They arise at the level of T5 to T6. And what is their diameter? Their diameter is about 1.5 millimeter. And what is their number? There are three bronchial arteries. Two of them move towards the left pleura and one of them move towards the right pleura. And what do they supply? They supply the oxygenated blood towards the lungs. Okay, what is the next group of arteries which arise from this descending thoracic aorta? The next group is, as I have mentioned here, these are the esophageal arteries. Esophageal arteries. Okay. What is the origin point of esophageal arteries? So they arise below let me write here, they arise below bronchial arteries, okay, from front of aorta, they arise below the bronchial arteries. The correct word would be that they arise below the bronchial arteries from the front of descending thoracic aorta, right? This will be the correct answer. What is the origin of esophageal arteries? Esophageal arteries arise from the lower part of these bronchial arteries from the front of this descending thoracic aorta, right? What is their diameter? What is the diameter of these arteries? So their diameter is about 200 to 300 micrometer, right? This is their diameter. And how many esophageal arteries we have? What is their number? So there are about 3 esophageal arteries, friends, which arise from this descending thoracic aorta. We know that esophagus is supplied from 3 regions, from the upper part, okay, let me make it here. For example, this is the esophagus, right? And this part is the middle part of this esophagus. This is the middle part of the esophagus. So this middle part of this esophagus is supplied by these esophageal arteries, which are the branches of descending thoracic aorta. This upper part and this lower part is supplied by other arteries, which we will mention soon, right? What is the how many esophageal arteries? There are 3 esophageal arteries which arise from descending thoracic aorta, right? Their number is 3. Where do they supply? What do they supply? So they supply, we have written here that they supply the middle part of, we know from here they supply the middle part of esophagus. Very good. So these are the esophageal arteries. The first group were bronchial arteries, the second group are the esophageal arteries. Then we move towards the third group of the arteries, which arise from the descending thoracic aorta. And what are these branches? These are the mediastinal arteries. The third group of arteries which arise from descending thoracic aorta are the mediastinal arteries. Right. Okay, so from where do these mediastinal arteries arise? These arteries arise, as we know that they arise from the descending thoracic aorta. They are the branches of descending thoracic aorta. Right. Okay, what is their diameter? Mediastinal arteries diameter. The diameter of these arteries, they are very small arteries. Their diameter is about 1 micrometer. They are very small arteries, right? How many mediastinal arteries are there? What is their number? So there are, we can say, numerous. There are numerous mediastinal arteries. Very good. What do they supply? What do they supply? So they supply the lymph nodes and the alveolar tissue which are present in the posterior mediastinum, right? So they supply the lymph nodes and alveolar tissue which are present in posterior mediastinum. Right. Posterior mediastinum. So these are the mediastinal arteries, right? So these were the branches. Now the next branches will be discussed inshallah in the next lecture. Be with us, share these videos so that other students and friends could also get some knowledge from these lectures, and be with us. Don't go anywhere. In the next lecture we will discuss about the next branches which arise from the descending thoracic aorta. Don't go anywhere. Be with us. Thank you.